Hello everyone, welcome back to another video. It's been a while since I've posted my next video. Last month, and I've just been so busy lately. When I came here to Canada, my first month was definitely something that I needed to adjust with, like the weather, school, and now work also. So I apologize to you guys if you've been waiting for me to post a video, but lucky for you, I did have time today to post a video. And this video is timeline of how I acquired my DIY student visa. Okay, first of all, I want to thank everyone for all the support. I've gained a lot of views and a lot of subscribers the past month, and I thank you guys so much. And I love it when you guys message me on my Instagram and ask me questions. I'm more than happy to help you guys, so don't forget to follow me on my Instagram. My link is down below. When I first wanted to come to Canada, it was about 1 year before the intake that I came. So I didn't do much from the time being because I realized I wanted to come to Canada and study in Canada on September 2018, but I didn't really do much in the span of from September to May because I was really busy and I was working. But the first thing that I did have to do was I've kind of browsed a little. I searched some schools and some provinces that I possibly want to come to when I come to Canada. So I did kind of a little bit of that in the first 2 months of realizing that I want to study in Canada. So by about November, the first thing I did was finalize the school that I wanted to go to, because I was pretty sure that I wanted to come to Ontario. I wanted to be in Ontario. So I browsed on some schools that are in Ontario that I can possibly go to. So you don't have to have the final school that you like. I kind of switched between schools, found out what are the documents that they may need. Are they strict on requirements? So yeah, I went from Canadore College to Centennial College to Georgian, and then my final decision was to come to Fleming College in Peterborough, Ontario. So that was the very first thing that I did. I found my school. So the next thing was I looked at some of the programs that the school that I wanted offered. So next step is find your program or course. So I browsed on the Fleming website and on my school's website and looked at all the possible programs and courses that I can take. I found something that was related to the course I was taking in the Philippines, so that was good. So I got the law clerk paralegal program since I am a law student in the Philippines. Okay, so that's the second thing that I did. The next thing was by around January of this time, I started to browse on some reviews or review centers for IELTS, because I did found out that my school needed IELTS. So I browsed on some IELTS reviews. So I did do self-review. I did a review center for like a couple of times just to know what the flow is during exam. So I was so busy, so I couldn't go to the review center every day or every week. I would probably go like twice a month or once a month, and then the others I did a self-review. So I did that while waiting for the other requirements that I was getting. But that was the third thing that I did, was look for my review center or start on my IELTS review. Okay, so by February, March, and April, I didn't really do anything except review for IELTS because I was so busy. But if you can do all your stuff earlier, then that would be better. Okay, because me, I waited until before 3 months of my intake to get all my stuff together and sent out all my requirements or submitted my application 2 months before my intake. So you can do that if your time is limited, but if you do have more time, then I suggest you do all your stuff earlier than I did. Okay, so the fourth thing I did was gather all my school documents. So when I gathered all my school documents, about late April, I submitted to the school and got my letter of acceptance. So the fifth one, after you gather your school requirements, get your letter of acceptance. Some schools will wait for you to finish your IELTS exam and get your IELTS results before you can get your letter of acceptance. But there are other schools that will give you a conditional letter of acceptance, and you can just follow up your IELTS exam after. My suggestion is don't do what I did. After you gather all your school requirements, then go ahead and take your IELTS exam and then submit to get your letter of acceptance. So it's better if that would be the sixth step, is when you get your LOA. Okay, so the next thing I did was finished gathering all my personal requirements, like my NBI, and I finished filling out all your forms that you need, the forms that we talked about in my first video, where I talked about the requirements that you need. And then so then after you gather all of that, go ahead and gather all of your financial documents. So by this time, you will need your sponsors' documents, and you will need to make them an affidavit of support. Or if you're funding yourself, go ahead and get all your financial documents that you need by this time. And yeah, so you have to get all that. And the next thing that you would do is go ahead and start your study plan. So for me, it was about May when I started to do my study plan, and then I had to revise it over and over again. So much better if you would do your study plan earlier, or while you're processing all of your stuff, you kind of do a little bit of your study plan and then edit here and there. So a study plan is very important. It has to be precise. It has to be really informative for the consul officer. So yeah, the study plan is really important, so do that ahead of time. So don't do like I did, but give yourself some time to do the study plan, especially if you need to get a hang of making essays, because some study plans can be 6 pages long, and yeah, that can be very difficult. So yeah, that's when I did my study plan. After I got my study plan, I went ahead and get my medical exam. Do this also ahead of time. So it's much better if you have everything and you've submitted 4 months before your intake. That would be the best, because the medical exam, like we talked before, would be difficult, or it would take some time for the clinic to send it to the embassy. So it will take a long time for the consul officer to look at your medical results, and might hindrance in giving your decision early. So, and then after I did the medical exam, I think the last thing I did was the medical exam before I submitted. But then again, when I tell you, this is just my experience and my situation. If your schedule and your timeline might be different, that's okay. But it's much better if you submit 3 to 4 months before your intake. So don't rush yourself, because you don't want to forget anything and leave anything out. So give yourself some time to do all of this. Okay, so after my medical exam, I went ahead and gathered all my documents. And as we talked about, if you're going to do an online submission, you have to scan all of those documents. So I then scanned all of those documents and all my requirements, and then put it in two PDF files, one for study plan like we talked about, and one for your financial documents. Okay, so by that time, I had my 2 PDF files and I had everything. So I went ahead and made my CIC account, and it's valid for 60 days. So you can make an account and submit all your requirements before 60 days. Okay, before the 60 days end. So for me, I made the CIC account, and while I got all my stuff ready so that I don't have to make a new one if ever I can't submit it after 60 days. Then I just uploaded all my files on there, and then I submitted, and you're gonna get a notification that you need to pay the application fee like we talked about. And I went ahead and paid, and after that they're gonna give you a letter like a day after or 2 days after, asking for your biometrics. Okay, so when you get that biometrics letter, they're gonna send it in your CIC account. You have to then make an appointment to give your biometrics in the nearest VFS office. Okay, so you have to make an appointment for the biometrics. There are no walk-ins. So after I made my appointment, I then went and gave my biometrics, and then it's just waiting game for me. So I submitted about July 4th, and I got my biometrics letter at July 6th, and I made an appointment July 11th. So I gave my biometrics, and after that I waited for a while. This is where the waiting game is gonna be so long, and it feels like a very long time, but it's not really. So on July 29th, I then got my passport request. So this is where you will really know that your visa has been approved, or your study application has been approved. And so you have to then go back to the VFS office where you had your biometrics. That's what I did, and drop your passport there. You don't have to make an appointment this time. So you're just gonna have to drop your passport. Okay, and after that, you're gonna get a correspondence letter saying your visa has been approved. Yay! I hope that goes well for all of you guys too. And then you wait until your visa has been stamped, and the VFS office is very quick on that to update you via SMS and email where your passport is. And then after they send you that message that you can pick up your passport, then there it goes. There goes your ticket to Canada. Okay, so I got everything settled at August, about August 10th, and then I did a few preparations, like my first SEM tuition fee. If I haven't paid that, then I have to go ahead and pay for it so I don't have problems when I get to Canada. Then wait for the school to email you, and don't forget to inform your school that you have been approved, so they can send you like a letter or a checklist of everything you need to prepare before you fly to Canada, because that's important. You have to bring a few things, and you have to prepare a few things also prior to entering Canada. So I'm gonna talk about that too in another video. I did do a video of me coming to Canada and what can you expect during your travel to Canada. Okay, so that's on the plane, on the airports. So we're gonna do a whole different video on that. So after that, I just prepared some allowances. Of course, you need allowances. You need to prepare your accommodation if you don't have any. And yeah, so stay tuned in my next video of what you guys need to prepare before coming to Canada, and that would be next week, I promise. So I hope you guys enjoy this video. I hope this is very informative. Again, you don't have to follow the way I did it, because mine was kind of really quick. It was kind of rushed, and it's important to take your time when you want to submit a DIY student application, because you don't want to miss anything out. So maybe I just got lucky because mine was rushed, but I still got a positive result. But just to make sure for you guys, For busy schedules, of course, you can do what I did and do it kind of rushed if you know how to get things done like that. But to those who might need a little more help, DM me on my Instagram. Follow me, my link will be down below. Don't forget to like this video and subscribe, and thank you so much for all of you guys' help. So I hope everything goes well to you guys. I'd love to hear updates on how your student visa application is going, so please let me know. So thank you so much for watching, and see you guys soon.